When I started making art, I was about 7 or 8, and I started out by tracing animals from textbooks I had available to me. And honestly, they weren't half bad. I think that's when I decided that art was something I wanted to take more seriously. I knew that if I wanted to make a living with my gift, I had to get a whole lot better at art. So, with that being said, these are a few things I did as a beginner to get from here to here. Follow till the end because out of everything I'll say here today, the last tip made the most difference in my journey from beginner to intermediate. The first tip I have for you is referencing. To draw something from your head means understanding how it works. For example, you can't draw a lion without knowing where the leg is attached to the body. That is why you use references. It is to get information on what you want to draw and study them so you can redraw it on your own. Keep in mind that you don't have to draw the reference line to line, bar for bar. References are there for information and just that, information. But unless you're doing a study, you should never copy other art line to line, bar for bar. No one likes art thieves. Here's me using a reference for a study, and here's me using a reference for an art piece. The fact is, the more you do something, the better you get at it. The most important ingredient for learning any skill is passion. Simply stated, if you don't have the passion to learn, you'll find it difficult to do so. This advice shows up in all corners of our life, but is particularly important when it comes to art. Drawing more often does not require you to sit and draw 5 hours a day. This is unless you're a professional. And this is because they built the passion for art through consistency. By making art in moderation and staying consistent, you will then be able to build muscle memory. And it only requires a few minutes spent in your sketchbook every day. The third, final, and most important tip is practice. Just drawing every day will not turn you into the art gods and goddesses that roam the confines of Instagram and ArtStation. Practice is how you will build the necessary skills you need to be considered at the very least an intermediate artist. Practice makes perfect, but what should you practice and how should you practice it? Beginner artists should practice basic shapes and forms. It shouldn't come as a shock since I'm pretty sure any artist who's worth anything will give you the same advice. Everything you see around you can be broken down into simple shapes and forms, so mastering them will enable you to draw anything you can imagine. A good practice is drawing a box from as many angles as you can. You can find references on Google, Pinterest, or any web browser you prefer to use. After you feel comfortable with your understanding of the simple shapes and forms, try your hand at breaking down references into simple shapes and forms. This will further your understanding and I'm sure will push you past the beginner phase of your art journey. And with that being said, this is the end of this video. Consider liking the video or subscribing if anything I said here resonated with you. Thank you and see you on the next one.